Hello, hello. I see us, and Dan, go ahead and minimize the Skype window, please. There you go. All right, I think we should be good to go. Give me a quick sound check as well, Dan, please.
Yes, hello.
Yep. Yeah, is your volume all the way up on whatever is your output microphone device, your headphone? Yeah, just check on that while we get started. So, all right, good morning, folks. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening wherever you're joining us from. Welcome to Code It Live. This is a channel where yes, Dan, that master volume, you want to make that probably a little high. In the last screen, you had a master volume that was real low. Yeah, maybe just bump that up a little. Yes, yeah. Okay. There you go. Now I hear you better. All right. Okay. Yep. So, folks, as you know, this is a channel where we do a bunch of different things throughout the week. Mondays, we do a CMS show and a podcast. Yesterday, though, we had some issues where I co-hosted with a friend of mine, and his internet went out, so we could not just do it on his cell phone coverage. So that's one thing we missed out yesterday. But we did a podcast recording. Tomorrow is Wednesday. We have fun stuff coming up. We have somebody from Microsoft joining us. We have a UI show coming up, and then this Thursday. If you have any time, we would love for you to join in any time of the day, because guess what? It's a full 8-hour stream that we're going to do. Turns out our beloved Silverlight is ending support in October of 2021. So people still maintain and run applications for their businesses on Silverlight. So you need to start thinking about migration. So we're going to spend all day talking about different possibilities that we have for migrating out of Silverlight applications. So that should be a lot of fun. And then Fridays are chat show days, so that's nice and relaxing. But today is Tuesday, which means it's Unity time, and we're going to have a lot of fun building a VR world that we have started building out, right? So my name is Sam Basu. I am a dev advocate at Progress Software, and with me I have my good friend Deyan. So Deyan, introduce yourself, please.
Yes, hello from me. My name is Deyan Yosifov, and I'm part of the VR team in Progress as a software developer.
Yep. So Deyan, and you've also seen Panayat on the show. These two are absolute experts in AR, VR, and all kinds of 3D worlds with different types of VR devices. In fact, at the office where Deyan works, which is in our engineering headquarters in Sofia, Bulgaria, we have a corner where they have probably a dozen or so VR devices. It is very cool, all the things you guys get to play with. But right now, like today, both him and I have an Oculus Quest. We are not doing anything just specific for the Quest here, but it should be functional. I mean, this is Unity, so should be working everywhere. We do have a couple of Oculus plugins that we are using, but for the most part, this should work everywhere. And we are building sort of a VR world. We have a conference coming up in October that's called DevReach. That's a huge conference that we host in Eastern Europe, and we are thinking at the end of the day we'll kind of all hang out here in a virtual world. In our offices we have a 7th floor room, which is our game room, and it's great. It's got ping pong, it's got a library, it's got a beautiful balcony that looks out into the mountains. So we're trying to recreate a little bit of that world in Unity. All right. And let's see. Oh, hey, Fire is Dead. Hello, hello. I know you. That's actually Pana. Let's see if I can do robot voice for you. Good to see you, Pana. I know you are a little unwell. Hopefully you're feeling better. Either of you are able to move this project forward. So you are actually looking at Deyan's desktop, and we are in Unity. I think, when did we stop last week, Dan? I mean, we had the hands going.
Yes, last week we started some hand models from Oculus. They provide free hand models, so we can put them in our project and customize them the way we like. For the demo, we have created two versions of this hand. The one is open, and the other is representing the hand when it is grabbing some objects. So now today we are going to add some interactions and to grab some objects, introduce some grab objects in the VR scene. So we are going to make our hands working in VR.
Awesome, I love it. And folks in the chat room, before we get started, let me know if the music is a little too loud. I'm trying to, I hear what you hear. I'm trying to get it down to a nice, comfortable level. Hopefully that's good enough, and you can hear both of us clearly. Okay, so, yeah, let's go. Let's start.
Okay, so first let me test my VR device and see what we have from the previous week. Where is our starting point? I'm going to put two headsets on my head.
You look like a bit of a cyborg when you have your your headphones and your VR headset on.
So here I'm pressing now on Unity, and here I can see my hands. If I press the grip button, I see that we change the model from the one that is open and the one that is grabbing object. So now let's continue.
Yeah. So what was the next thing you wanted to do?
Yes, the next thing I would like to add some cube, for instance, and try to grab it and throw it so that I see that my hands are working.
So why a cube and why not like a sphere?
Okay, I want sphere.
Yeah, I mean since we have a ping pong table, I mean, might as well throw a ball.
Yes, it doesn't really matter. We are going to add several objects in the scene. So first we need to make our hands being able to grab objects. So there is a class in Unity. First thing that I noticed that I would like to change is that our hands are not next to the main camera. Here is a camera offset object, which provides the vertical displacement of the VR headset. So whenever you are standing, it provides this height of the human. So the hands should be raised together with the head, the camera. So I'm just going to drag and drop him here. So we have these two hands now.
So just to clear up, the main camera is now part of the XR rig that we added, right?
Yes.
And
so here is an XR rig, and there is also a camera offset object that is responsible for the height in VR.
Right.
Everything that is parts of me, my hands, my head, and my avatar, they should be inside this camera offset.
I see.
In order to be more correct.
So it's just the Y you are doing, just raising it a little bit. Yep. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Then another thing. In order to make our hands grabbing, then we need to add from the package manager. Let me see the package in my project. So we need this XR Interaction Toolkit. It comes from Unity, and it was introduced recently, some months ago, and it provides this functionality out of the box. So we have already installed it, I think, at the end of the previous session.
We did add that.
So now I'm going to add XR Direct Interactor.
So I'm curious about one thing here. You said this has been recently added?
Yes.
So you had to do all of this kind of by yourself and by hand before this plugin?
Exactly. We actually did it some time ago because we already had to implement this logic in our progress applications.
Right.
So today we are going to see what Unity introduced recently, this toolkit. It provides teleport functionality, and so on, which was previously you had to either depend on some third-party SDK or implement them by yourself. So now I have added this direct interactor, and I see that there is an error which says that we have missing interaction manager in our scene. So in order to have interactions, you need to
have a manager.
You need to have such interactor in your scene. So now I will delete this because it will be added with reference to this interactor when I create it. So here I'm going to create, maybe first I will add an XR rig. We are going to need it for teleport functionality later. Here I'm going to choose that I want the floor level tracking. This means that when I'm with the Quest or other device which has 6 degrees of freedom, the height that we were previously talking about is going to be taken from the device sensor. While there are other devices that cannot track this height, and then I need to place the camera in my scene exactly at the level that I want to be visible initially. So here with the Quest, I just need to set the floor level to be used for tracking floor.
No, I have a curious question. Like for the Quest, like you know how we set the Guardian boundaries, and that floor level is different if you are sitting versus standing, right? So this will be smart enough to know that you're standing as compared to sitting.
Yes, it doesn't. Yes, it doesn't really matter if you are sitting or standing. When you make the Guardian, you put your controller to the ground in order to say where the ground is. So this is how Quest detects where your ground level is. And when you're sitting, your height is lower. You are about maybe this is the value 130 in meters.
Yep.
And when you're standing, it's 170.
Gotcha.
So this value here that is the initial value for camera offset of the XR rig is actually for a sitting person. But when we have floor level and Quest, this value will be changed according to the device.
All right.
Okay, so then what I want to add was this direct actually interaction manager. Okay, here we have it. So now the left controller should be happy when we add the XR direct interactor, because we already have this XR manager in our scene. Yes, this time we don't have this error.
Yep.
And we may see that adding this script, it was able to find the direct interactor in our scene and to add a reference here to the XR rig where I put the manager script. So direct interactor managed to find its manager that will manage the interaction. Okay, that's great. Now we may see here is an interesting drop down. We may choose which layers should be interactable. So Unity provides this functionality to split the objects in the scene in several layers, so that this reduces the calculations. I don't want to interact with the tables, for instance. They are too heavy to grab them. However, I may mark some objects in the scene that they are grabbable, and I will put them in a specific layer. This way, when Unity make raycast and to find if there is such object nearby, it will make the raycast only filtering the exact layer. So here,
can I ask you a question? Like the tables, like in the background, like they're not on a different layer, right? So how do you mark things grabbable versus not?
Okay, I'll show you now. Okay. I'll make now a layer which is called grab.
I see. Okay.
It can be called however I.
So then whichever game objects you put on that layer are grabbable.
Yes. Now I will make this direct interactor on my hand. first I'll select nothing, and then I'll select grab. Nothing clears all the selections because you may select several layers, and then I select only the grab layer. So this direct interactor will be able to interact only with the objects in the grab layer, with this same layer mask actually. So now we have a hand. It has direct interactor, and the next thing we want to do is to add some objects in the scene that may be grabbed. So let's add some objects. You said that you prefer the sphere, so I will add one sphere here.
It's just more fun to throw around. In fact, one of the fun things.
The cube will be actually, you will see how the edges are.
That's true. Yeah, the cube will let us see the roll better. Yeah. Let's go with the cube if you want to.
No, I want one cube and one sphere.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. No, I was saying, like, in terms of things you can throw in VR, one of the fun things I saw was, like, Allspace has, like, different types of rooms, and one of their, like, hangout rooms has, like, a rocket launcher. So you can pick it up and you can, like, aim and throw the rocket at somebody, and it just kind of explodes behind their head and makes a little, like, fireworks show.
Yes. Well, this is really one of the strengths of VR, because you really feel that you're there and you can interact with your friends. It's really important functionality for every VR application, in my opinion.
Yep.
Because it really adds additional dimension to your game.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'll make them 20 centimeters so that they are not too big. There they are. Oh, here is the cube and the sphere.
Okay.
They have wider, which is great. And I'll add here XR grab interactable. So this is the interactable object. So that's why we put this script. Grab interactable, so we'll be able to grab the cube.
Oh, so where did you get the grab interactable? Is that something you get because you have? It's
again from the toolkit. So the XR toolkit coming from Unity.
That's nice.
Here again, and on the sphere, just I press add component, and I write XR and it finds the grab interactable script. Which is here in my packages actually.
Yep.
Here, if I open the packages, we have this interaction toolkit, and here somewhere here is this script. So we are going to find it. We may actually see the source code if you want.
Yeah.
Which is sometimes useful. So here I'm going to select again nothing and then grab in order to be sure that the interaction layer mask is what we want. So here on the cube also, let's make it grab. And one thing that now I realize is that I forgot to add the collider. So our hand needs to find the interactable object. They have colliders, and I need my hand also to have a collider. This is how Unity finds intersections between objects. So the collider of my hand, when it intersects with the grabbable object, then I will be able to grab it. So we need to add here a sphere collider, for instance. Let's make it 30 centimeters in radius. And also it should be a trigger collider. So when it's not a trigger collider and here the cube has a rigid body, if we put a rigid body on our hand, we'll be able to hit the object with our hand, and it is going to run from our hand. So we won't be able to grab it. What Unity XR Toolkit requires is that this is trigger checkbox is checked. It's very important.
Okay.
When I was testing, it took me some time to realize, and it's not really well mentioned in their documentation actually.
Yeah, I just posted a link to the whole Collider APIs. Like it's got quite a bit of like properties and methods. Like you can subscribe to like when you enter a collision, when you leave it, and then it's nice.
Yes, the previous development process we had to from the previous versions of Unity we had to install assets from the asset store, and so their documentation was really separated. While now Unity provides all these packages from the package manager, and it is really useful because each of the packages there is a pattern here. So there is a documentation link, a changelog link. So when you get a new version, you may see what is changed and what are the upgrades. Suggestions from Unity or from the owner of the package actually, and the licenses. So if I click here, I'll be able to open the documentation page of the Interaction Toolkit, and here we'll be able to see it's a decent documentation. I have read it actually, although I needed to watch also a few YouTube videos to make better understanding, but it's well documented, although it's in preview. So maybe we can test now. We have the left hand working, probably, and the sphere and cube. So let's see what happens now.
Let's see. Drum rolls.
So I don't see the sphere and the cube now.
You have to turn, I think they were on the other side of the table.
Yes, we might see that their Y value is decreasing constantly. So I suppose that the gravity is working heavily on them and they are falling right now. So I'll need to add some ground here.
Yeah.
So I'll later add some teleportation functionality. So
I'm going to start highlighting some messages here that might help. So our good friend Plana is saying there are no colliders on the floor.
Yes,
exactly. On the floor tiles, yes.
Yes. So I'll add here from the XR, when you right-click on the scene, the empty space on the scene, there is an XR group, and there I may choose a teleportation area. I'll add this to the floor because later on I would like to use it in order to teleport in the scene. So I'll increase this area a bit.
So does that include the colliders? Like how does it know that you're hitting the floor?
Yes, when we add the teleportation area, when we want to teleport on it, we again raycast create array. So Unity needs a collider to get at the point that we need to teleport to. So this teleportation area script automatically adds a mesh renderer display here, the white plane that we see, and also a mesh collider. So we have this plane collider here.
I see.
Actually, this is the mesh filter, and so on. So I will make it a bit bigger, this teleportation area. No, I don't need the Y. Okay, let's say this way seems enough. So I will hide only the visualization of the mesh. The mesh collider will be active. However, the rendering of the plane will be turned off by turning off this checkbox. So now I have this plane with the collider, and I suppose that this will keep the cube and the sphere on the ground. Let's test it again. Yes, I see now.
Yep.
The cube and the sphere are next to me. So let me try. I managed to grab the cube.
There we go.
Okay, now I'm going to throw it, and it's there. Okay.
Nice.
Is it seen well on the screen?
Little wins. allow me to throw up like a hooray thing, because this is well done. Yeah.
Okay, maybe I'll maximize, but no, I actually. So I'm now tied to my table with a cable, and I won't be able to move.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah. But I mean, we get the point. Like you can move.
So yes, I may either move them closer to me, just to test better. So let's stop here. So here is my point, and I need to move the cube and the sphere really close to me. So here is the reason why I need to add the teleport functionality later.
Alright, so you can move around without having to walk around. Yeah.
I can grab the cube with this hand, and I may hit the sphere with the cube, and then maybe throw the cube. So we see that
nice.
The interaction seems to be working now.
I like it. Okay, so I have a couple of questions. Yes. So first thing is, we have colliders on your hand and on the cube. So if you are if your hand is in a position where you can pick up the if your hand is in a position where you can pick up the cube, you still have to do the action that you added on the fingers, right? To the grab action. Yeah.
Yes. If we come here on the left hand, which is prepared for grabbing, we may see that there are a lot of options here in the XR Direct Interactor.
Mm-hmm.
So here we have, let me see where the control is. So we have an option where the action is triggered. So here is a state change.
Yeah.
So whenever I press the grab button, then we are going to grab the object. If I only move the hand closer to the object, this won't do a thing. And the other action is when you release it. Again, the state is changed.
So when you're throwing it, you are actually releasing the grab handle, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Yeah,
yes.
Okay.
And while I'm moving, I'm holding this button in order to keep holding the
Right. Yeah. Okay. No, makes sense.
I think that here in the XR controller, maybe, yes, we have here the select usage. So it is now the grip button. We have several options here. You need to have some abstract API for the controller.
That's a lot of options.
This should handle most of the available buttons of different controllers, either on Quest or Vive or Windows Mixed Reality. Most of them have some mapping to these buttons.
Yeah.
So when we, by default, it's the grip button. If I want to use another button, I may change it. Here is also an activate usage. So, for instance, if I grab some weapon, some gun that may shoot bullets, for instance, first I'll need to grab it with the
so it's like a secondary action, like you have to use the grip to pick it up and then shoot.
While holding the object, I may press the trigger button and shoot. Yes.
Yeah.
So there is a secondary action.
Yeah. Oh, very cool. Folks, in the chat room, if you're just joining us, we are just building a VR world where we are recreating a game room that we have in our offices, since this beloved year of ours means everybody is at home and we are missing hanging out with people and playing games. So we're recreating this that we can hopefully reuse at a conference. At the end of the sessions, we can just hang out in our game room. I don't know if this was in the plans, but eventually maybe we can consider like creating the outdoor like balcony type space and at least be able to look at something outside. Like if you step out of a door, that will be awesome, because I know that's part of the office that I really love. Okay, so we got the hand picking up the sphere or the cube, and we got the grip. So what's next?
Well, I have just added the same functionality to the right hand, so we can grab it as well. And the next thing that I would like to do is to implement some teleport functionality.
Okay.
This way, I'll be able to move closer to the tables and implement, for instance, some table tennis racket.
Yeah.
Try to play some tennis with it.
Sure.
Okay,
yeah, this I mean, I have just a thought and a story here. Like this whole teleportation thing, like with games, it's like such a natural thing for people to pick up. I have a son who's 4.5, and we are getting into games a little bit, and the way he moves around the universe, like he is quicker than me. Like he just teleports like at a moment's notice. And I have my controller, and I'm like, whoa, where did you go? Because like he's moved off. So it's just such a natural thing. Like once you get used to it.
Yes.
Oh, and while we were talking, Pana said we could have a balcony. We could have like a 360-degree image of the office. That's amazing. I love that.
Well, yes. For sure, we will need to add this view because really from the 7th floor, if you want to represent it better, there is really nice view out of the window. So we need to find a way to create this, recreate this image and add it to the skybox maybe.
Yeah.
So when we finish this scene, we're going to be able to look at the Vitisha Mountains and the buildings around our office.
Awesome.
Okay, so now let's see what we need to do in order to achieve the teleport functionality. I will try to do it, to remember how to do it. If I need, I'll look at the presentation, which I already showed that is really convenient and
I
fine.
saw just like for context, I saw a tweet by one of my good friends to say like, we've been doing software development like for whatever number of years, like 15, 20 years. You just cannot remember everything. You just have to look things up, and that's totally part of professional dev.
Well, especially this is so this is some third-party code written by Unity that I have not been part of, and so it's really specific. You need to know all the scripts that need to be added.
Yeah.
So first, as I remember, we need a locomotion system here.
Okay.
So I'm going to add it to the XR rig, and then we need here a reference to the XR rig. So I believe that if we don't add it, it's going to find it, but we are going to help it in order to improve the performance of the initial walk.
Can I ask you a super dumb question? What exactly is a locomotion system, like in this context, like for Unity?
Yes, it's maybe specific to VR. When we want to move smoothly in the scene, there are several ways to do this. The first one is by teleporting instantly from point to point. So we have a laser curve usually coming from our hand.
Yes.
And whenever we decide this curve to hit the floor, we press just one button and go there.
Mm-hmm.
So this is one approach which is better in the meaning of that people don't get sick of it usually because it happens really fast. Mm-hmm. While the other approach is to move just like a normal game on a PC.
You're walking or flying
or
running.
You're moving smoothly, yes, and with some speed constantly. Well, this is more tricky because some people don't feel good in VR with such movements because their brain really
the body is not moving and the brain is thinking you're moving.
The body doesn't feel this movement and you might feel sick.
Now, does this locomotion engine kind of have some defaults in place, like how fast can you move, like when you're running, just so you don't feel like extra like sick because your brain is thinking you're moving really fast?
Yes, the speed is one thing for sure. Another thing that may be done is to decrease the sight vision. So you may, while you're moving fast, you see only the front of the image, and here on the side it is black or
I see.
Maybe darker.
So that reduces the impact of what your brain is feeling.
Yes, because actually the movement is felt from the side of the eye. You see it really fast from the side of the eye, while in front the images don't change that fast. We just another story here. We did a team meeting one day where the entire team was in VR, and we had a space where we moved around for like an hour, and we felt a little like dizzy after that. Like if you keep moving nonstop, an hour is probably the max that you can take. Yes, it is tricky. I have now, I can say, a lot of experience with VR, but from time to time I also feel this feeling when playing some game and moving this way. It really depends on maybe the implementation or my mood, not sure, but sometimes I don't feel well, although I have experience. So I've added also a teleportation provider. So this XR-Rig actually will be this teleportation provider, and it requires the locomotion system. So what is the purpose of locomotion system? If you go to the documentation, if I remember correctly, this class makes sure that only one teleportation provider is affecting the camera movement at a time. So if there may be several controls that may be used for movement, and if they all start to move your rig, it will be a strange movement.
Yeah, of course.
So this locomotion system, its purpose is to make sure that only one provider can be running at a time, and the other will be waiting
to
finish.
So is the normal thing like you add one locomotion system to every camera or XR rig?
Yes, I think the locomotion system should be unique, while the providers may be different. We may have this smooth moving, and we may also have this teleport moving, for instance. There is also a snap turn functionality. So while I'm sitting here, in order not to turn around and you won't be seeing my eyes because I'll be on the opposite direction. I may just be sitting and press the joystick on my controller, and this will turn the view.
I see.
So this is another way to move the camera in the scene, rotating. So maybe I can even start with this. I will now add this snap turn provider. This comes directly. All these scripts come from this toolkit manager from Unity.
This is nice. I'm impressed. Like how much you get out of that toolkit. Like you have you have the thing about the layers that you can grab things off. You have the locomotion system. You have the teleportation. You have the turn provider. That's a lot out of the box.
Yes. So now again, this requires the locomotion system, and it's not a surprise because, as I said, here is a teleportation provider. Here is another provider that will somehow move the camera, and the locomotion system needs to make sure that only one of them is working at a time. So that's why they require a reference to the system. So here we may see that we need some controllers. So in order to snap turn, we are going to use the primary joystick here, the 2D axis of the controller, and we need to specify which controller we are going to use. So Maybe I may try to reuse the controllers I already created here. So on the left hand and on the right hand. Let's see. I come here to the rig. I'll make here a size of 2. And now I have 2 fields that I may drag and drop the controllers here. So this way I may snap turn both with the right and the left controller. So maybe we may test this now.
Okay.
Just put my headset again. Okay. Let's play. So here I am.
There you go.
The cube and the sphere. And when I press the joystick, nothing happens. So this is obviously not working. So at least I'm.
Well, I thought you were turning a little bit, but you did not turn.
No, I am turning with my head.
Oh, you were turning with your head. Okay, yeah.
Yes. Well, we'll see how this should work. In some minutes. So at least I see that both my hands are working with the graph functionality now.
Right. Yep.
Okay. Great.
This is. It sounds like what you did should make it work. Like it's.
Well, yes. Now I'm not quite sure why
let's find out.
It is not moving.
I have a confused soundtrack here.
Okay, maybe I'll try to add this teleport functionality first, and then we'll come back to the snap turn to see what is missing.
Maybe also what you just did with the controllers, like elements 0 and 1, like you just dragged them. Is that so what it needs, or is there the turn axis? You said it was going to be on the 2D axis. So does it know that it's meant to use the 2D axis of each controller?
Well, it says turn input source, so I would guess that it will use this source. There are not a lot of options here. You also have always have to use 2D axis.
Okay.
You just have to decide if it is the primary or the secondary.
Sure.
Here I believe that the quest only has a primary.
Yeah.
So I don't need the second option. Well, not sure. Not really sure why it's not working right now, but I'll try it later maybe.
Yeah. We'll it was funny, one thing that you said, in our coding problems, when we are stuck and when we are not sure how to make something work, we go look up things like Stack Overflow or any other blogs. But with Unity, you may literally have to go to YouTube and see how people have been doing this. It's such a busy IDE, and you need to know exactly what to hook up with what.
Well, yes, they also have Unity forums, sometimes Stack Overflow.
Sure.
Unity forums also have a lot of traffic and information. So I may try to add here another let's say what interactors. Maybe it was Ray interactor, but as we see, this is an invalid operation, so we may have only one interactor on a single game object. So in order to have this teleportation curve coming from my head, I'll need to add another game object that will track the controller and so on. So with this API that the toolkit provides, it is forbidden to put all of them on a single controller object. So now I will add another. Let's see if here we have it. Here we have array interactor. So let's see what it looks like. Ah, great. It added a lot of stuff for me. So just using the XR button, we have several predefined objects that may be used. So here is this Ray interactor.
Mm-hmm.
It has a separate controller that will track my hand and so on. I will put it here in the camera offset again, and we'll rename the game object left teleportation. Maybe left hand teleportation. Okay. So we may look at this controller. Currently it tracks the left eye, so I need the left hand.
Yeah, and I think even like things like all space, like they do the teleportation on one hand only.
Yes, sometimes it depends on how many controls you have. If you don't have too many controls, you may make the two controllers symmetric, depending on which user prefers to use his left hand or right hand. So if we don't run out of buttons, we may keep it symmetric.
Yeah.
So here I'm going to use the maybe trigger button because I already used the grab for
the grip. Yeah. It's like picking up
I
stuff.
won't have a secondary action here. Okay, so I have some line. Ray interactor was the thing that I was actually looking for. I'll create here again a separate layer, so it will be called teleport. So when I'm casting these rays, it will be intersect only with the colliders which are in this mask, teleport layer mask. So for instance, if we go here to the teleportation area, I suppose that it has some interaction layer mask, and I'm going to use teleport here. So I'm going to hit on the collider of the teleportation area in order to move in our scene.
Now, one question I had was like, you put down a mesh on the floor to mark your teleportation area, right?
Yes. Yes.
So, like when you have to get that curved, that laser type thing, is it literally just going off inside that area and just finding the X and the Z to take you there, or how does it exactly work?
Well, it if we have a single array, it just creates this let's say infinite line and tries to intersect it with the colliders which are in this teleport layer. So when it intersects with the teleportation area collider that I have created the plane on the ground, when I hit this trigger button, it will move me there. So
right.
It will move.
Okay.
So there is one more thing. Here there was some, maybe on the line visual, there is a reticle, if I say it correctly, object. So this is the object that is visible whenever we hit, and it shows that we have hit some target.
Yeah.
So I'm going to add here a sphere.
So like this is what tells you like whether you can teleport to that location or not. Like if you
it helps you to see the point that you are going.
Right. Yep.
So again, I'm going to create one sphere with this size, and I'm going to hide it initially, and it will be activated if we manage to hit the floor.
Okay. So
we have this here. Well, I believe this should be working. Maybe I'll make just for test one cube here. That should be moving with my hand, just to test that this thing is tracking the hand correctly.
Sure.
Okay, I will run now. Play. Let's see what happens.
All right. Folks, if you're just joining us in the chat room, we are building a VR world where we are trying to recreate a game room in our office and see what we can do. Have a little fun with it. Okay, so what are we seeing? Like we see the laser and the red and the white.
Oh, yes, the cube is next to my hand, so it seems to be tracking the hand correctly.
Sure.
The laser is straight right now. And whenever it hits the floor, we see this reticle, the sphere that appears.
Yep.
So it shows that we are actually hitting the floor.
So, but I also see the red, like sometimes when you're hitting the floor on different parts. Like, is that outside of the teleportation mesh?
Well, I'm not sure why this line is changing its color right now.
Yeah.
It's trying to be white and red at the same time, maybe. We're going to check why this is happening.
Did you actually add the thing that will make us teleport or not yet?
Well, I'm now hitting this trigger button on my controller.
Yeah.
And it's still not teleporting. So I'll need to check what is missing here.
And by teleportation here, essentially what it will need to do is move the entire XR rig.
Yes, I'll need to move in the space.
To that point on.
To reach this red point here.
Right, yeah.
Yes. Okay. So, he will have an error here, which is nice. Yeah. Maybe this will help us a bit. So, we have on-site reference exception. So, the camera game object of the XR rig has not been assigned. Great. Okay.
I have a freak out emoji, which you don't need to freak out. This is totally cool. But that's a nice error, actually. It tells you exactly what it is.
Yes, it's really useful. Okay, let's go to the XR rig, which is here. And yes, it's not initialized at all. So we have this camera offset here.
Yeah.
Camera 4 offset. Great. Ooh, great. And we also have camera game object. So it was almost working without this initialization, but maybe it's important for the teleport functionality. Okay, maybe we can try now. I'll delete this cube. We don't need it anymore.
Sure.
We just have the sphere and the left hand teleportation. So, camera offset. I want to reset all these transforms because they need to be tracked. Maybe it's not a problem, but I prefer them to have the initial transform. They now have some different from zero values here. And I'll just reset them. Let's see this here. That's small. Okay. Well, let's test again. See what happens. Now I'm moving.
Yes, you are. Nice.
Great. Well, I have some issue. It's
but I mean,
on every trigger press, but it's moving from time to time.
Yeah.
I have some guess why it's not working. Let me see, but at least I can move close to the tables.
Yeah. So nice. I like it. Yeah, baby steps. This is good.
Yes, it's a step forward for sure. Yeah. Okay. So, first of all, I would like to change a few things. So here in my assets, I have a materials folder, and I'll create a new material. I would like it to support alpha blending. So I'm going to choose such material. I'll make it by default, let's say, some strange color, yellow. Okay. No, maybe.
So are you trying to do like where, like when you point, like it's going to be like a circle on the floor that tells you if it's green versus yellow?
Yes, I would like now to use another functionality of the teleportation curve, and this is the functionality that shows different color of the line depending on whether you will be able to teleport or not. So it is another way to show you.
Sure.
The first way was to see the reticle on the floor.
Yeah.
However, it may be hiding behind some object. So it will be useful
like
if we see different color of our line, for instance. Okay, so now we have this controller. This is the trigger.
Deyan, I know I've been drinking, but you like water, not drinking, but you've been talking nonstop. You should take a drink if you want to.
Okay, thank you. I'm fine for now. Thank you for reminding me this. Okay, I'll try also another thing. I'll try to have a projectile curve. This curve simulates an object that has been thrown. So if you throw something, the path it describes, this will be our curve for the teleportation.
This is really powerful stuff, the amount of things that are built in.
Yes. So we have a raycast mask. Maybe I can use the teleport raycast mask. And then I will need to move this teleportation area probably to the teleport layer. So when we raycast with our curve, we are going to hit only this layer. Maybe this was causing the flippering colors on the line. Not sure, but we'll test it now. Okay. We have also interesting options here, by the way. There is a sound option. So when we select hover on something with this line, we may have this sound. So if we teleport, we may want to introduce this sound that helps you to realize that you have moved.
Yeah.
Another way. There's also Haptics Event. So again, we may put some haptics when we I'll press here. I'll turn on the haptics and we'll say if my controllers are vibrating. So let's put some intensity when select enter is code. There are also events if you want to make some stuff when the interaction happens. So we have a valid color here. It's actually a color gradient. So I'm going to use some green color here and use the same here maybe. However, I'll put some there is no transparency here. Okay, at least I can find it. Okay. So again, this line renderer, it requires some material. So I'm going to use the same material, which has a terrible name. So it will be the teleportation line material. And I'm going to use it here on our left-hand teleportation object and on the sphere as well. So the sphere should be green now. And if we look here at the line renderer, it has this material now.
Yeah.
So great. I obviously couldn't change this color. So here let's make some green. I like this one. Okay, I managed to mess it up.
While you're doing that,
No, also have different colors on both ends of the curve. So it may be red here and left.
Right. No, I see what you're doing. Yeah, I was going to say, like, folks in the chat room, if you're just joining us, we are building a VR world and trying to simulate a game room in an office and something that we can move around and teleport ourselves to different parts of the room.
Okay, let's test now.
Yeah, let's go. Let's test.
Open with our teleportation functionality. So we have this line.
Yeah, I love it.
Yes, it's now curved line. It doesn't flicker. It has green color initially. Great. Oh. And it's teleporting now every time I hit the button, which is great. By the way, now the snap turn functionality is working. So
yeah, what did you do to make it work?
I left it for later, and this was a good decision. I suppose that the XR rig was not initialized with the camera. And this was causing the snap turn not to be working, because I believe that the XR rig is used by the locomotion system.
Right. Okay, so if you keep your head steady and if you just move the axis, like does the camera turn?
Yes.
Okay.
Now I am turning.
Oh yeah, there you go. Now you're not turning your head at all. Yes, perfect.
Yes.
I like it. I like it.
So this is really useful now, exactly, especially when I'm sitting here.
Yeah.
Now one unwanted feature. When I added the reticle, I forgot to remove its collider, so now I might hit this ball with my teleportation curve and move it around the scene. However, this is not a desired feature, so I will fix it. Here the sphere has some sphere collider. I don't need it anymore. I'm removing this component. And it seems to be working. There are some issues that I'm not sure what is causing them, but the invalid color is red now. However, I'm seeing some strange, maybe black color, or maybe it is blue.
Yeah.
I'll try to change this to red as well. So let's copy the color here. It's perfect red on the okay, and the other color will be white. Okay, well, this is great.
Yeah.
Maybe I can add one more hand. So here, what? Maybe I can just duplicate this object. It will be the easiest thing. So it will be the right hand teleportation. And so the only thing I need to change is here the hand, which will be the controller of the right hand. So I believe that now it should be working great. Let's test it.
Yeah, and I think if you get this like that, this is a lot of progress for one day.
So we have these two hands.
Nice.
We can pick both of them. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Now I can move closer to these objects and grab them. Yes.
Oh, you can pick up both objects, right, in two hands?
Yes, I
Nice.
both hands are working now.
Very nice.
Okay. So another thing that I would like to do. So now this teleport line is always rendered. While I'm used to the feature when this line is rendered only when I press the button that wants that teleport.
Only when you want to teleport.
I would like to hide it initially.
Yep.
So I couldn't find such functionality here in the direct interactor. It may be my maybe I wasn't able to see it, but I couldn't find it out of the box. So we need to write some custom script in order to achieve this. So let's write a new script. And it will be called teleport activator. There's some strange error. From time to time, Unity has some errors.
What is that? You're pushing GUI clips? That was a weird error.
Yes, it's Unity, but
I see.
I just created a new script. This can be an invalid operation. So yes. So here, this teleport activator. In order to do it.
Then, did you bump up your font a little bit? The font size.
Yes, of course.
Do like Control plus.
Yes, is it fine now?
Yes.
Okay, great. So here I'm going to require component XR controller. I will use this component. Actually, it is typer. XR controller, and I will need it in order to get the button that is used for the teleport functionality. I want to use the same button, and I don't want to have duplication of code in the scene to set the same button twice. So I'll just grab it from the controller. So what? Maybe I'll need this array interactor just to check the class. So in the inspector we have the controller and we have the array interactor. Okay. So maybe I will require this component as well. Here I may write file component, type of interactor. Great. So now I would like to use maybe late update. So when in the Unity lifecycle, when it calls this special method, each frame it calls update for all the scripts, and then it goes again, iterates on all the scripts in the scenes and calls them late update. So it doesn't matter of the order of the scripts in the scene. You can make sure that your late update code implementation will be called after the update calls on all the scripts. So,
yeah, we were doing something like Anna and me one day where he was explaining this. So it's like one of the last things it's called before the update thing is done.
Yes. Because why I will choose this? Because I'll now turn off and on the direct interactor. The ray interactor actually. And I would like it to be able to get its button press and so on in order to make the teleport. Otherwise, it may not be working. So I believe that late update is a better choice to make sure that I allow it to do its stuff in update. Hopefully it uses update. And then I will hide whenever the button is not pressed. So here I may take the input device. So this is the controller device. We have done similar thing previous time by taking the controller device in order to check the grab button, the grip button of the hand if it is pressed. So we are going to take the device at some XR node. So here, if we take our controller, we may actually ask the controller about the node if I'm not mistaken. It has a property called controller node. So we have this device, and there is an extension method that is checking if some button is pressed. So we may ask the device if it's pressed, and I believe the controller has this select usage button. So we may add a boolean here. So maybe the check will be something like if device is valid and device is pressed and pressed. Okay. So we have here the value of is pressed, and if it is true, then we may know that the button is pressed. So we are going to take this direct interactor. Maybe I'll make here some fields for this in order, because get component is relatively slow operation. I don't want to do it every update. If I make it every update the same, maybe I can use it just once in the start function.
Right.
So I'll get this controller, and I also get the array interactor. Let's suppose that this is what I have to do. And here I'm going to put this code, get my controller and get my interactor. It's an interactor, not direct interactor. And if we have button pressed, then actually it's pressed, we want to activate it. Otherwise,
yes, turn it off. Otherwise,
yes, maybe I will add some additional logic here. Otherwise, I could have just assigned this value here, but I'll add some other logic later in the instant else functionality. So not quite sure if this will be working, but maybe try now. Okay, so I'll put my headset here. So first of all, I'll need to add my script to the scene, otherwise we're not going to test anything.
Sure.
So here is the activator, the port activator, okay, and I'll add to the other hand as well. Okay, so let's try it now. Oh, great. It's almost working as I want, with one small bug that we may notice.
Yeah,
so when our curve is invalid, I don't know why the code is incorrect, but I'm not going to check it for now. Then we don't have this reticle. However, if it is valid, then we have the reticle, and when I press, when I release the trigger button, I teleport, and then the activator gets
turned
disabled.
off. Yep.
So it seems that the activator is manages to deactivate the line because it does this in update.
Yep.
While I later in late update I'm disabling it, so it is working. However, it doesn't seem to be working with the reticle because reticle is a part of another script which is line visual something. I'm going to check it later. So maybe another approach would be just to get either hide and disable the other script as well, or hide the reticle with my code. So only the reticle is a bit not working. So now, okay, this is good, almost working, which is great for a live demo.
Yeah. Yeah, and we can always like keep on perfecting it. I mean, if you want to keep this for next week, that's fine too.
Yes, we have this interactor line visual. Maybe I can get this script as well and try to hide the same way. So here is required component, type of XR line visual stuff. So here is the line visual. I'm getting it. And here the line visual enabled. And the same but false. So maybe this will do the job. If it doesn't, we are going to get the reticle by ourselves and hide it. Oh, it's not a big deal.
Let's try.
Well, it obviously doesn't do the job. Okay, we need to take the reticle by ourselves. So here is what we can do. We can actually we already have the line visual. Maybe it has this reticle. Yes, great. So whenever we release, we want the reticle to be set up to false. Whenever we press, we are going to keep it to the line visual if this reticle will be visible or not, depending on the whether we are hitting the ground or not. So we are only going to hide it when we want to hide the whole line. I believe this will be working. So yes, okay. Now let's try. Yes, it's great now. So
there you go.
Now the reticle is not visible and the line is hidden. And when we show the line, if we go out of the ground, we don't see the reticle.
Yep.
Maybe we need to go to the edge to make sure. Yes, there is no reticle. And when we are here, it's a bit scary here on the edge. Yes, but I won't go there anymore. Okay, so now our teleport and snap functionality seems to be working great. Great.
I love it. I love it. That's no, really. Cheers to you. This is quite a bit of progress in one day. There you go. Got my robot voice. I love you. All right. So is this a good point for us to pause and?
Okay, I can. If we have some more time, I can try to create something similar, looking like a table tennis racket, and try to grab it. If we have, let's say.
Yeah, that seems like a whole new thing to go into. Why don't we keep it for next week? I think that's going to be like a fresh pair of eyes, and we can. Yeah, that kind of brings in like whole new interactions that we can grab the ball and we can use try to use it with the table tennis paddle. But yeah, I like this. So let's recap what we did. So we had stopped last week with just being able to like curl our fingers and do a grip, and today we are able to add a sphere and a cube and be able to pick it up because they're on a certain layer which was meant for grabbing. And then we started doing teleportation, and you dropped the teleportation area, which is what was it? Is it like a mesh area? And was it on the floor?
Just a strip.
Okay.
And a mesh. So
okay.
The mesh has is actually a plain mesh. We can add whatever we want, but by default, when you click on the scene XR at teleportation area, it adds just a plane at the 0 level. So you can move it or change the mesh if you want.
Sure. Yeah, and then the whole challenge was like, can I teleport to a certain spot? And I'm really impressed, like with the tooling that they provide, and you being able to write scripts. Like in like an hour and a half, you're able to get it to almost the functionality of like a full blown like all space type thing, where you know exactly where you're teleporting. The green tells you that you can go. The reticle shows up, and it hides itself when you're on the edges. So yeah, I love it. This is great. All right. Any more thoughts, Dan, on what we did so far? And like next week, like maybe we want to add the table tennis paddles.
Yes, maybe next week Panayot will be back, and I suppose that what's next is to make the scene, to add some more objects to the scene. Maybe add this table tennis racket, and it is really just one step to find some suitable model, or make them, to prepare them for from the next time, and add some table tennis racket or some darts, and throw the darts and hit the darts.
Yeah, we have not done the dartboard. Yeah, so we're getting close. We are getting close to adding quite a bit of interactivity in our room, and this will be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to where we take this. All right, Dan, once again, I want to thank you for taking the time. I know you're busy, and this is completely an optional project, but I'm enjoying everything that I'm learning. Hopefully, folks in the chat room, hopefully this is fun for you to see us build stuff on the fly. We are recreating a VR world. So we love you all. We appreciate all of your time to hang out with us. And until then, that's it from Sam and Deyan here. We shall see you on the next stream.
Thank you very much. Cool. It was a pleasure for me too.
Yep. Cool. Bye-bye now.